Good morning, everyone. First things first, I missed a day yesterday. How terrible. Okay, this is for our condition, for the grace of God, temple on earth. Ooh, I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. No doubt, when one looks at what that is actually for, this, that, my daughter was here. One of my daughters was here yesterday, and told her about it. She says, "Oh yeah, how much money did go into that? Oh yeah, how really?" And well, one can't fault people for thinking like that. And I said, "Oh, I think it's a good thing. It's about time people start thinking a little more for God like that. Why not? Oh, there's plenty of churches built for God. This and that. Yes." Uh, I was going somewhere with that, and I forgot. When the effort is made, yes, and things like that, then I'm not going to be against it. And again, it's not taking anything from me. And all my life, I can't ignore the blessings when I support good things. Done. Do I have to have every explanation? Do I have to know where every dollar goes? This, that. That's up to the people in charge, not me. I'm in charge here, so I know where every dollar goes to everybody else here, right? Yes? Oh, there's a little for me. Yeah. It's okay. They say that tithing is like 10% or something should go to God, whatever you make, right? However, which way you want to do that. Here, I feel like 90% of everything I have goes to God. Oh, the people around me, I got 10% for myself. Well, why not? It's a great way to live, I think. All right. Well, yeah, earlier in my life, I needed a little more than just 10%. Yeah, but lots of responsibilities, this and that. Yeah. Now, later in life, hey, I can give more, right? I need a whole lot less now. There we go. Okay. I was a blessed child. Peace in mankind, care and love for every dependent child. Peace. Every child feels secure, which reflects cause and effect in the child's life. Peace. Every child eats. Peace. Every child is warmed in cold times. I need to put this in a nice frame. I want this on my wall. It's an interesting thing I wrote here, I have to say. It feels so unattainable in a way. Every time I read this, it's like somehow I feel like I'm not quite there. In a place where, what would that look like? How would that be in the world if, when, not saying if, when. Peace. Every child is warmed in cold times. Peace. Understanding a child's growth in troubling times, then to guide the child to attain harmony with peace. I am peace as a father, as a mother, as a son, as a daughter of God. Peace. To become the best I can be for every child. Repentance, knowing every child is deserving of peace. Prayer, knowing every child comes first. Restored, conditions are fulfilled when every child is loved and cared for. Death separates us from our earthly path to attain peace. Our taught descendants are the future. The change of lineage, God's lineage in action. The true cause and effect in a child's harmonious and happy life. I am an adult, ashamed to ask for anything from my heavenly parents for myself. If a child on earth needs my prayers in conditions greater than I, peace will happen when peace can be found in every child. I will be less than any child that suffers due to mankind's unkindness. Spirit world will hold us all accountable, regardless. Remember that. So, the way the people still think on earth at this time and how things are, it doesn't matter where it's at, it's always the same, is to gain more, right? Yes? Yeah. Is it a person for themselves? Is it a job they have? Is it a place they build? It's always to gain more, right? Yes? Hopefully someday, right? It will be building something, then making sure that whatever you build up with the people supporting you, this, that, however which way, through money, through their labor, through their support, this, that, someday there will be in every one of these aspects a give and take that equals out what? Yes, fortune, anything, right? On the side of goodness. Maybe someday that will happen. I think it happens here. I think that as a family, extended family, with the community, and in many ways, with the support of our belief, which goes around the nation and the world, we've built up a really amazing place here. Yes, and we could have lost it about 3 days ago. But we didn't. No, we didn't. Yeah. And still, it amazes me. So we had rain beforehand. If we did not have had that rain beforehand, this all happened with the fire, things could have been different. Then we had that wind that did dry things out some, right? So the dangers were definitely there. Then we had that heavy rain, amazing heavy rain for many, many, many hours, which put everything out. Didn't matter where it was here, they set those fires, everything was out. Then the next day, which was yesterday, we had a windstorm with tornado warnings. And we don't have to worry about tornadoes here. They can form, it's just they can't really gain any kind of energy here. They get broke up by the hills and the trees and stuff. There's not enough ground here for a tornado to actually do any real damage. But our house shook that night. Our house shook. I've never felt our house shake. It shook. It was that strong. The wind was that strong. And I thought, my goodness, what if it would not have rained with that kind of wind? I could be looking out there right now, and everything would just be blackened. Oh, this house could be gone. Right? Kind of amazing on how the weather it all happened. We're still here. That's one thing we're very vulnerable to here is fire. And again, got to just, what would we do? Run. Run with all our animals. Well, anyway, all is well. Today, this morning, so far, it's all quiet out there. Thank God my daughter was here. We had a tree fall right across the road, so she went and helped get that out of the way. Anywho, so there we are. I'm just amazed. I'm always amazed. I'm just always amazed over all and everything. So I told my daughter, I said, if you want to be a part of something really good, uh, building things for a good purpose, yes, to build up on things, again, for a good purpose, will happen. And it's going to be up to you on how you want to look at it. Yes. Oh, so I missed the day yesterday. So kind of in the same area. And one could say, yeah, but that's so you missed the day of the condition. Isn't that? No, it didn't. I can do whatever I want. When it comes to all that, I'm not beholden to anyone. Nobody at all. When conditions like this start to circulate, people become part of it, it's got to be available, it's got to be possible for everyone to do it. Yes, everyone, regardless. Well, so what do I do with the missed day, isn't it? I just extend it. I can't do that. If it takes me 6 months rather than 40 days to do this condition, whose business is that? Yours? Surely not. Still gonna do the condition. It says 40 days. Okay, it has a date attached. Well, that's your problem. It says 40 days, so I'm gonna do it my 40 days. Right? No one should ever be, when the willingness is there, to be excluded. You never know. Someone may have an accident, end up in the hospital for a few days or something. How are they going to do the condition then? Huh? Well, they'll have to wait until they're better, back at home, and then continue on. Oh, so they missed it? No, they didn't. Other things may happen. Yes? Or sometimes you just feel, well, this isn't the time to do this. If I do this now, it's going to be rushed. It's not going to be with the proper 100%. See, I don't go for 90% or 50%. I'm going for 100%. If I'm doing this and I'm ready to do it, I'll be there 100%. To give that condition to who? Of course, God. You see? You get my drift here? Yeah. Of course, the ones are, that's good. As long as you do it every day, 100%. What did I say about layering down a prayer just so you have said it? Don't do this condition just so you have done it. Yes? You want a solid foundation. And a solid foundation like that isn't just doing whatever you do in the physical. It's got to be there 100% in the spirit as well. So be in the spirit, or don't do it for a day. As I said, you can always extend your condition. You're not beholden to anyone to a particular time. You see? When you're done, though, with your condition, you're going to be really proud of yourself. Because you gave 100%. You see? Okay. Well, anyway, there it is. Yes. We have the freedom in this case. Yes. Sometimes you have to go to work not feeling so well. And sometimes we're not 100%, but there it is. I don't get that either. Why people can't just stay home when they're sick and at work. Things are laid out where one can be without one or two people for a few days, right? Yes? And why do people have to worry so much? Well, I got to go back. I was in the same situation where, well, if I don't go to work, I'm not making the money. If I'm not making the money, I'm going to pay the bills. It shouldn't be like that. It should not be like that. Yes, there are a few who will always take advantage of a better thing for everyone. But it's usually not the majority. Yes, yeah. And usually they give themselves away. Then you just say, you can't be a part of this place if you're like that. And then you go look for someone who fits the job better. Right? Yes, again, for people who do that, as I said, abuse a good system, if there is one, in the places that they work at, and then get fired because that's their problem. That's a consequence. I'm not going to worry about people like that. Not too much anyway. Hope that they do better once they learn their lesson. But again, there should be, why would a company or a place where you work at as an employee be in favor or just about penalize you when you're sick and you're not coming to work. Yes? Rather than that's a good thing. Don't come in here and infect everybody else. Then you suddenly have what? 5 people sick, 10 people sick. Now, what kind of work are you going to get out of people like that coming to work? Aha. You see? Again, you take a break. You should be allowed to take a break when you're not feeling well. Done. And the company or the places you work at or the employers should have something in place to be able to make it past these times where you're not fully staffed, for example. Yes? No. I'll be rather threatened. You better come to work sick if you're not coming here. This is so upside down. How it should be. All right. So, all in the same, right? Yes. And then people make mistakes when they're sick, not feeling well, sometimes really devastating mistakes. Right? Okay, I'm just saying. I know one could go on and on with all this. It just amazes me on how we're supposed to be so intelligent. Huh? You run a business, you should be definitely more intelligent than that. Okay. Daniela. I can't help it. Well, at least, regardless, it depends. If people don't watch these videos, that's not my problem either, right? Well, I could circulate them more in other places. And I'm going, nah, the people who need to see this will see it, But it's out there. So you go to Spur and say, well, nobody ever told me. That's because you didn't watch Daniela's videos. That's your problem, not ours. Okay. Oh, I'm having a good time this morning. And we got Ham. I don't know if you can see Ham over there. See Ham over there? No. He's my granddaughter's coming today. My daughter was here yesterday. She's coming. Her dad's bringing her today. So we already have Ham here, right, for spring break. Yes. So fun. Ooh. Can't wait for her to get here. Miss my absolute wonderful granddaughter who's just absolute joy to be around. Absolute joy. All of my grandchildren are like that. The rebellion of Israel. Oh, here we go. The whole community then cried out in dismay. Why were they crying out in dismay? Oh, yeah, we just had all the 12 leaders come back and tell all different kinds of stories about what they found out there scouting out Canaan. The whole community then cried out in dismay, and the people wept all that night. All the Israelites muttered at Moses and Aaron, and the whole community said to them, would to God we had died in Egypt, or even that we had died in this desert. Why has Yahweh brought us to this country? For us to perish by the sword, and our wives and children to be seized as booty? Oh, wow, look, they mentioned the wives and the children for a change. Oh, they don't care. They care about themselves. You can tell just by this little bit already. Well, we got to remember, it just came out of slavery, and I can sympathize. I mean, I can kind of see where they are at. They don't have that strength of a people yet. Should we not do better to go back to Egypt? There you go. And they said to one another, let us appoint a leader and go back to Egypt. Wow, they even actually thought of that. Even with, you see now, even with all the instructions and guidance given to the Israelites, all that, well, if you do this, if you do that, and with the threat of death, which, as I said, don't believe that God did that, and all that, they're still, it's like, let's just go back to Egypt, right? This is all, this isn't working out. Still, They just invested, all of them, the whole community, into building this ark, the tabernacle, the ark of the covenant, tabernacle, all this stuff. Just did all that. And that took time, and that took effort, and that took some of their riches. And here, it's like, hey, oh, go and see my friends I left in Egypt. I bet you they're eating real good right now. They don't have to worry about getting slain or they got their homes, this stuff. Yes, even though, aren't they thinking, man, we really slaved away there. Right? Many of us died building what? The pyramids and all that? Oh, no, they were built by aliens. Oh, okay, go ahead. Whatever. Well, here they are. Things get a little hard, this, that. Okay, well, there we go. I'm going to go back to Egypt. At this, Moses and Aaron threw themselves on their faces in front of the whole assembled community of Israelites, while Joshua, son of Nun, and Caleb, son of Jephunneh, two of the men who had reconnoitered the country, tore their clothes and addressed the whole community of Israelites as follows. Oh, interesting. Joshua, that was the Nashua, I think. Now it's Joshua. That's interesting. Why did they change his name? Why did Moses do that? Joshua sounds better. A lot of people named Joshua. That's a nice name. All right. Translated, it may have some kind of a, yeah, okay, all right. The country we went to reconnoiter is a good country, an excellent country. If Yahweh is pleased with us, he will lead us into this country and give it to us. It is a country flowing with milk and honey. But do not rebel against Yahweh or be afraid of the people of the country, for we shall gobble them up. Their protecting shade has deserted them, while we have Yahweh on our side. Do not be afraid of them. Well, you guys all know what beef I have with that, but again, all right, let's keep reading. This is a long chapter. Yahweh's anger. Moses intercedes. The whole community was talking of stoning them. When the glory of Yahweh appeared to all the Israelites inside the tent of meeting. And Yahweh said to Moses, wait a second, it's inside the meeting, tent of meeting. What happened exactly there? How did they see God then? Okay, well, as I said, it's written down the way it's written down. How much longer will these people treat me with contempt? How much longer will they refuse to trust me, in spite of all the signs I have displayed among them? It's the same with miracles, you guys. It's the same. It's the absolute same. I shall strike them with pestilence and disown them, and of you I shall make a new nation, greater and mightier than they are. Moses said to Yahweh, suppose the Egyptians hear about this, for by your power you brought these people out of their country, and tell the people living in this country. They have heard that you, Yahweh, are with these people, and that you, Yahweh, show yourself to them face to face, that your cloud stands over them, and that you go before them in a pillar of cloud by day and a pillar of fire by night. If you kill this people, now as though it were one man, then the nations who have heard about you will say, Yahweh was not able to bring this people into the country which he had sworn to give them. And so he has slaughtered them in the desert. No, my Lord, now is the time to assert your power as you promised when you said earlier, Yahweh, slow to anger and rich in faithful love, forgiving faults and transgression, and yet letting nothing go unchecked, punishing the parents' guilt in the children to the third and fourth generation. In your most faithful love, please forgive this people's guilt as you have done from Egypt until now. So what? Moses is teaching God now. Moses and Aaron are teaching God now on how to not. Oh, don't, please don't. Does God need to be taught what's right and wrong? Does God need to be taught benefits of leaving them alive, or well, okay, well, this isn't. You could have just let them go back to Egypt. I think the Egyptians would have took care of them. I would say that Moses and Aaron were instructed by God to let the Israelites. No, I said, okay, look, I want you to tell them what's going to await them if they go back after I just took them out, gave them a way to escape. What do they think they're going to find back in Egypt when they go back? I think it was the other way around. Where God instructed Moses, warned Moses, you better tell your people, you can go ahead and do that, but right? The warning is in here. So, nothing to laugh about. But what do you do when people continuously are just being foolish? Eventually, you just, well, what do you do? What do you do when a fool is just being continuously a fool? You start laughing at them. Okay, well, alrighty then, but I would instruct you. So, I think it was the other way around. I don't think that it was God that was all. God just looks at this people and goes, ay, 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 ay. Long way to go we got. We got a long way to go. Right? I don't think that God just would give in, throw the towel in so easily. Yes? Well, since we're created in the image of God, maybe if God is like that, then, that would explain a lot too. And yellow. I can't help it, guys. What do we do when we read this? We've got to, let's go. Let's walk through that maze, okay, of good, truth, and the dead ends. To get to that center of a maze, or to get back out of it. So, I think it was the other way around. Okay. No. Pardon and punishment. Well, here we go. Yahweh said, I forgive them as you ask, but as I live, and as the glory of Yahweh fills the whole world, of all these people who have seen my glory and the signs that I worked in Egypt and in the desert, who have put me to the test 10 times already, and not obeyed my voice, not one shall see the country which I promised to give their ancestors. Not one of those who have treated me contemptuously will see it. However, since my servant Caleb, I like Caleb too. That's a nice name. Is of another spirit, and since he has obeyed me completely, I shall bring him into the country where he has been, and his descendants will own it. The Amalekites and Canaanites occupied the plain. Tomorrow you will turn about and go back into the desert, into the direction of Sea of Suf. Sea of Suf, Suf. Suf, Sup. Sup, Sup. Yahweh then spoke to Moses and Aaron and said, how much longer am I to endure this perverse community muttering against me? I have heard what the Israelites muttered against me. Say to them, as I live, Yahweh declares, I shall do to you what I have heard you saying. In this desert your dead bodies will fall, all you who were counted in the census from the age of 20 years and over, who have muttered against me. I swear none of you will enter the country where I swore most solemnly to settle you, except Caleb, son of Jephunneh, and Joshua, son of Nun. Ooh, sure pays to be on the right side, doesn't it? Yes, they tried. We were the only 2 out of 12. Dear me. Your children, who you said would be seized as booty, will be the ones whom I shall bring in, so that they get to know the country you disdained. But as for you, your dead bodies will fall in this desert, and your children will be nomads in the desert for 40 years. Oh, here we go. Bearing the consequences of your faithlessness until the last one of you lies dead in the desert. For 40 days you reconnoitered the country. Each day will count as a year. For 40 years you will bear the consequences of your guilt and learn what it means to reject me. Ay, 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 ay. Well, here he goes. You know what? I got no problem with this one. I, Yahweh, have spoken. This is how I swear to treat this entire perverse community united against me. In this desert, to the last man, they shall die. The men whom Moses had sent to reconnoiter the country, and who on their return had incited the whole community of Israel to mutter about him by disparaging it, these men who had disparaged the country were all struck dead before Yahweh. Oh. Struck dumb? I'd say they were all struck dumb. Oh, I don't believe God could kill any of the people. Of the men who had gone to reconnoiter the country, only Joshua son of Nun and Caleb son of Jephunneh were left alive. All right, we already know this did not happen because not in the way it is written here, and in the way that looks like to me, like they were all dead, gone, okay, struck down, all them people, this and that, because they still have to get to Canaan, right? They're still, so there had to be enough around, yeah. So otherwise, their numbers would have been, yeah. Anywho, much smaller. And how would you? Okay, all right. Again, I have no doubt that I see it and what's going on in the world now, on how places where God's not welcomed, where people try, yeah, they try. So okay, we got to do better. This, that. They fall back again to the exact same. The consistency is not there, right? And the places where God literally has no room anymore are falling apart. Death in places like that is rampant, and it's not sparing anyone, not even children. When I just bring up one thing, when I think of the gangs that go out and fight other gangs and they start shooting around in communities, hit a child here and there, this and that, yeah. It's unbelievable that there isn't just one person going off the rocker and just whatever, you know, but there are groups of people, 2 groups of people who fight against each other within a community where there are children and kill everyone. No, it probably happens more often than not. It's called an accidental death. That's not accidental, that's a murder. 1st degree. You can tell me whatever you want. But that's where lawlessness, living without God, that's what happens. Just use that one example. And because of certain political things, this and that, people unhappy, they allow it. They allow that to happen in their communities. They allow it to continue in their communities. It becomes a collective sin. Now everybody suddenly is a part of it, aren't they? Don't be surprised when you go to spirit world. There's a bunch of little souls standing in front of you. You're being told by spirit world, you're responsible. Just like many other people are responsible for all these little souls didn't get to grow up because you didn't do anything. Because you were hiding criminals, for example. Don't be surprised. Well, I didn't know. Yeah, well, just because you didn't know, because of your inaction, all of these children didn't get to grow up. Just an example. Yeah? Yes, that's what I see here happening. So again, if you take this all literal, then you're not going to find your way through that maze. And again, then you're looking for, okay, today I need this God here. I need the vengeful one that's going to make you sick. And I don't know what, because of you, you did this, that. But tomorrow I'm going to need the really loving one, isn't it? Yes, and the one that's, it doesn't work that way, people, okay? All right. Okay, but in any case, the punishment is, you're not going. I'm going to keep you from going. Well, what if people said, okay, well, tell you what, we're going to, but we're still going to go. No, the people didn't want to go anymore. And I think because they got the warning about Egypt, well, we're just going to stay here. We're not going to go there. We're not going to go there. We're going to get stuck right here. That's what eventually happened, I believe. And only the ones that had enough courage to say, no, we're moving on. We're going to keep moving. We're going to keep going with the direction of God, made it into Canaan, and eventually became the Israel that God was looking for. Right? Yes? I don't know. Did things go well? Now, even though, again, we're taking this apart, I was like, the Israelites just don't look so good to us anymore, don't they? It's like, yeah, do they? Yeah. But again, I wasn't there. I wasn't a part of it. I don't know. Would I have had the strength to say, hey, guys, let's just keep going? I don't know. Who would I have been at that time? Could have been one of those 12 leaders, or could have been Miriam. Right? I needed to have a big mouth about things and got punished, right? Don't know. Who would we have been if we would have been part of that? How would we have reacted? Don't know. All I know is I'm here now, right? So even though this sounds pretty disparaging, right, the Israelites were very much needed in the Old Testament. Israel was needed. God needed these people, this people, okay? So even though I should be grateful to the people of Israel for having taken on such a big job. And they did good in many places. They did good. Come on now. Yes. So again, you got to see how we profited from all that. Right. Yes. Anywho, we did get Jesus, right? Yes. Okay then. But as I said, we're looking for the way through the maze on what were God's directions. Did he really? Probably not. It's written down as it is written down to communicate with the people. But I can hear through the whole story on most likely on how God warned the Israelites, if you go back to Egypt, right, then they didn't want to move forward either. So they couldn't go back and they couldn't go forward. I don't think it's God. Okay, you can't go. Okay. He warned them, though. If you go with that kind of heart, you shouldn't go. Right? Okay. Come on, boy. Mom's upstairs. No, he's coming up. Okay, let's continue. Did you have fun out there? Did you? Is that a tick? Have you picked up a tick? Let me see. No. Okay. All right, we got just a little more to go. An abortive attempt by the Israelites. When Moses told all the Israelites what had been said, the people set up a great outcry. Early next morning, they set out for the heights of the hill country, saying, "Look, we will set out for the place about which Yahweh said that we have sinned." To which Moses said, "Why disobey Yahweh's order?" Well, but they're not. Oh. No success will come of doing this. Wait a second now. Early next morning, they set out for the heights of the hill country, saying, "Look, we will set out for the place about which Yahweh said that we have sinned." Oh, is this a different place? I have no idea. What place was that? So they didn't go to where God says, "Go back to that place." Because that probably was the place where they would survive for 40 years. But they wanted to go someplace else. I can't tell if they did or if they said, "Okay, we'll set out for," no. To which Moses said, "Why disobey Yahweh's order?" Oh, why? Poor Moses. No success will come of doing so. Do not go, for Yahweh is not among you, and you will be defeated by your enemies. For the Amalekites and the Canaanites are ahead of you, and you will be put to the sword, since you have turned away from Yahweh, and Yahweh is not with you. All the same, they presumptuously set off for the heights of the hill country. Oh. Neither the ark of the covenant of Yahweh nor Moses left the camp. The Amalekites and Canaanites living in those highlands then came down, defeated them, and harried them all the way to Hormah. Oh, I see. So they said, "Well, we're going to go ahead anyway." That's the end of 14. Okay, man, this is a confusing one. Again, it's got to be some other historical something written down from that time that's not just in the Bible. Do they have? Does Israel have any kind of records of that time, of their ancestors? Okay, that's a long time ago, right? Yes? Yeah. I don't know. They've got records from from the Egyptians there. Okay, and you think too much about it. You overthink, and you're going to overthink. Okay, done. But this is a very confusing one. It seems like the confusion of the Israelites about what to do now, this and that, and that the worry, as I said, wives and kids, that's now, you worry about them now. It never says anything about them worrying about their wives and kids before. Right? But now here, okay, well now they're, okay, whatever. Oh, but they're not worried about the wives and kids going back to Egypt where no doubt they're going to be put to death. Done. They're not going to take them back. Right? Or maybe they will take the wives and children back, actually. Right? Oh, okay, all right. But this is a really confusing one, in a way that I can hear through the story here that God was very much trying to give them direction and guidance, to keep, just, and one thing, trust me. Why can't you just trust me? Yeah. I've asked many people throughout all my, do you actually, I know you're a Christian, I know you're a Catholic, I know you're a whatever. So do you really actually believe in God? Do you really actually do? Or is it just, again, something that it carries us, right? Yes, it carries us. It's the belief, is the faith, the belief, the hope carries us. But is it really ingrained within our heart to mind? The existence of God? Is it really? I think everybody should really ask themselves, are you really? Do you really trust God? Or are you just using God? Hmm? Would you defend his reputation? Would you acknowledge that you know Jesus if you would have been there on the day that they arrested him and afterwards when they tried him? Would you? Not one of his disciples was on his side of the 12. Oh, interesting. 12 again, right? Okay. In any case, bit confusing. The Israelites, no doubt, were confused. God was trying to end. Now we know why Moses ended up in the desert. Oh, he wasn't allowed to go either. Well, there was Aaron, Moses, Joshua, and Caleb, all trying. Went down in front of the people, said, hey, please, can you just follow God's direction? So why would Moses not be able to go? Think, why would Moses not go? You really think that God kept him in the desert? What do you think happened there? We'll come to that. I'll let you guys think about it. I already know what I'm thinking about it. What I believe happened there. Yes. Yep. Give credit where credit is due. Oh, dear me. Yep. And you know what? The other thing, too. I believe from the standpoint of a parent that I am myself, all you hope for as a parent, if you're a good parent, okay, on the side of goodness, trying to reach good little people to big people, okay, then you know, oh, dear me, this is not going to go well. I've warned them, okay, I wouldn't, and you can't stop them. They're going to go a direction that you already know. Ooh, so what do I do now? The best thing I can do now is pray for the protection of spirit world around them. Because I know that my children aren't bad people. Just sometimes, and they're especially when they were younger, teenagers, got misguided, okay, by others. So, all you can do then as a parent, you hope, you hope, and you trust God, spirit world, good spirit world, to keep your child safe until it reaches the point of change again. Yes? Okay. Now, I'm not better than God. I am not greater than God, but I know. Okay. And God would do that to his creation, his kids. Huh? Just strike them dead. Let's have a virus going through the whole thing here. And these people don't believe me, this and that. God would do that. God is the ultimate parent. Both. Embodies both. Father and mother. You can't tell me. He is the absolute ultimate parent who has the greatest concern, the greatest care, the greatest love for all of his creation and every child, every soul he sent here. So you can't know. Even at that time, and I know the divine principle, it kind of explains some of the differences between the Old Testament, the New Testament, the completed Testament. I get it. It's not, but yet still. And then again, oh, so we have the God of the Old Testament, and then we have the God of the New Testament, and then we have the God of the completed Testament. Really? Okay. It doesn't work that way, people. It just doesn't work that way. God's always been just God. The God. Done. There's nothing that needs to be added to it or taken away. He's the ultimate God. The ultimate parent. Embracing both father and mother. And in a way, even knows how to be a child. the perfect child, maybe, right? Yes? The ones we all would love to have. You grow with your children spiritually, that's for sure. Hmm? Yes, you grow with any child spiritually that you have a good proper give and take with. Okay? Yes. And all the troubles that come with it. I said, as a good parent, you would never wish death for your child. Why would God do that then? Right? So, again, we're finding our way through the maze of what's given in the Bible in the way that it is given. Yes? Yeah? Okay, there it is. People like to twist up things. I saw another one. So I left these groups. Ugh. That just were just awful. You don't talk to people like that. And you don't, oh yeah, well, gosh, right there again, another example of on how misinformation, misunderstandings, and then suddenly the twisting around of things. I happen to know firsthand that's not true. That's not how it went. And on how suddenly the people who created the trouble, right, are accusing the ones who are just going forward. No, okay. And suddenly they're the ones who created the trouble. I just saw it again this morning. Couldn't help myself. I went in another group where I'd say, okay, peace and harmony here. We're just growing with each other, sharing our experiences. This and that. Here sure comes one from these other two groups. And what does he do? The first couple of sentences was a lie. There was a lie in there, done. I knew that 100%. And so I went in and I said, what are you doing here? Please remain in your domain. I'm not interested in your twisted beliefs. Just not. Oh, no. Now, are these twisted beliefs? No, they're not. It's just, again, we have to find our way through it. And hopefully lies were not added to it to make what? The people of Israel look better than they were? Or is this just all about the wrath of God? I need to know about the wrath of God. If I don't absolutely do, but then I'm going to be struck dead, not allowed to voice a concern or this or that. I get struck dead. That's no. Then we all be dead now. Just saying. Anyway, so there it is. Again, just reading and okay. Let's find God in there. Okay. Yes. And also the difficult path that the Israelites did walk during that time. And on how God really tried. Okay, if you did, then go to the sea of what? Sea of soup, right? And stay there. Right? Sounded to me like, okay, sea, there would be fish, and there would be other things, and okay, and go back there. You can't, if you cannot commit 100%, then at least go back there, and then only these guys go, right? Yes? Don't know. But they decided, no, we're not going to do that. We're going to do now what we want to do. Right? And sure enough, they fell into the hands of their enemies, though they were warned. Right? Yes. Well, anyway, so there it is. That's all I have to share this morning. I could go on and on and on and on and on and on and on. Then I'll just repeat myself, which repeating oneself with certain things is a good thing because then hopefully it starts to stick in people or they suddenly get interested and go, I'm going to read up on that myself. I'm going to go and check that out myself, which is the best way to learn, which is the best way to develop our own heart to mind when it comes to many different things. Yes, and it's a great thing when people try to find their own way through the maze, right? Even though it might have some dangers, right? Yes. And dangers in what? Suddenly you have to admit to yourself, ooh, oopsie whoopsie, I think I'm going to have to change my way of thinking here a little bit. Right? Okay. All right. God's love and blessings always. May He protect you. Yes. And I will talk to you another time.